Hi, Black Cat recapped here. Today I am going to explain a mystery and thriller movie named A Haunting in Venice. In 1947 Venice, Hercule Poirot, the retired Belgian detective, finds himself disturbed by a recurring nightmare. Despite his retirement, his reputation for solving mysteries still attracts people seeking his help. To avoid unwanted attention, Poirot now relies on his bodyguard, Vitaly Portfolio, a former police officer. One day, Poirot's old friend, the struggling author Ariadne Oliver, pays him a visit. She invites him to a Halloween party at the palazzo of former opera singer Rowena, where the highlight will be a séance conducted by the infamous medium Joyce Reynolds. As Poirot and Vitaly accompany Ariadne to the palazzo, they observe a group of children gathered there, listening to a tale about the building's grim history. It's said that the palazzo once served as an orphanage during the plague, where abandoned children were left to perish, leading to rumors of their restless spirits haunting the premises. A chilling legend surrounds the place, known as the Children's Vendetta, with victims bearing a distinctive slash mark as a grim omen. Among the children, Leopold stands apart, engrossed in a Poe novel under the care of the housemaid, Olga Semenov, instead of joining the others. Meanwhile, Leopold's father, Dr. Leslie Ferrier, appears visibly nervous as Leopold seeks him out. As Poirot and Ariadne mingle, they learn from Rowena about the tragic loss of her daughter, Alicia, the previous year, purportedly to suicide after a fall from the balcony. This incident has haunted Rowena, making it difficult for her to sell the palazzo. As Joyce and her assistant Desdemona arrive at the palazzo, an unexpected guest, Maxime Girard, Alicia's ex-fiancé, makes an entrance, claiming to have been invited by someone else. Rowena and Ferrier display clear disdain toward him. The séance commences with everyone forming a circle, Joyce positioned at the center. Olga confides in Poirot, revealing Alicia's unsettling experiences of seeing apparitions of the deceased children before her demise. As Joyce appears to channel Alicia's spirit, purported messages are conveyed through the seemingly automatic typing of a typewriter. Poirot unmasks the deception when he exposes a second assistant, Nicholas, Desdemona's half-brother, hidden in the chimney, manipulating the typewriter keys. Subsequently, Joyce's performance takes a sinister turn, as she begins to gyrate and produce chilling sounds, ultimately delivering messages to Rowena in a voice resembling Alicia's, eliciting fear among some of the guests. Despite Ariadne's protests, Poirot insists on leaving, prompting a conversation with Joyce. She confides in him, expressing her desire for the simplicity of being a fraud, but acknowledges Poirot's deep understanding of death. Playfully, she adorns him with her mask and robe, urging him to lighten up. As Poirot ventures to the area where children were bobbing for apples, he attempts to join in, only to be violently pushed underwater by an unseen assailant. Before losing consciousness, Poirot narrowly escapes drowning, aided by Vitaly, only to hear a chilling scream moments later. Rushing outside, they discover Joyce's lifeless body impaled on a statue's hand. A fierce storm ensues, flooding the canals and trapping everyone within the palazzo. Panic and paranoia grip the guests, fueling suspicions of supernatural forces at play in Joyce's demise. Poirot takes charge, securing the premises and initiating interviews with the suspects, with Ariadne at his side. Their investigation leads them to a significant discovery, a stuffed rabbit named Baba, belonging to Alicia and previously thought to be lost. Poirot and Ariadne initiate their investigation by speaking with Olga, followed by Dr. Ferrier, whose PTSD is deeply rooted in his experiences at the liberation of Bergen-Belsen Nazi concentration camp. Driven by guilt for his inability to save the victims, he confesses to taking Alicia under his wing as a favor to Rowena, whom he loved deeply. Excusing himself momentarily, Poirot retreats to the bathroom, where he is startled by what he believes to be Alicia's ghost in the mirror behind him. Outside, he encounters Leopold, who likens Poirot's unease to Dr. Ferrier's, claiming to hear the voices of the ghost children himself. Subsequently, Poirot and Ariadne conduct separate interviews with Nicholas and Desdemona to glean unbiased testimonies. The siblings, Romani refugees striving for a better life in America, recount their version of events from the evening. Additionally, Poirot uncovers that the duo had pilfered from Joyce and may have been threatened by her. Desdemona's attempt to flee, marked by a confrontation with Vitali, is thwarted when Olga intervenes and subdues her. As the phone rings persistently in the foyer, Poirot and Vitali are met with silence upon answering. Poirot is momentarily startled when he seemingly glimpses one of the ghostly children, only for the apparition to vanish upon Ariadne's call. Moreover, he and Leopold both claim to hear a child's eerie singing, seemingly emanating from the non-existent basement, a detail Rowena refutes. Descending to investigate, the group stumbles upon a concealed chamber bearing the word "Doctor" scrawled on its wall, deepening the mystery of the children's vendetta. Dr. Ferrier's panic escalates, culminating in a violent altercation with Maxime, narrowly averted from turning deadly by Leopold's intervention. Overwhelmed, Dr. Ferrier retreats to the music room, where Poirot secures him inside for his own safety. Turning their attention to Maxime, Poirot and Ariadne unravel the tangled dynamics surrounding Alicia's engagement. Maxime reveals a torn photograph fragment of Alicia, disclosing the strain in their relationship due to Rowena's disapproval and Alicia's desperate attempts to appease her mother. Poirot scrutinizes the invitation Maxime received, deciphering the hidden message, "Apple," within it. Recognizing the significance, he confronts Ariadne and Vitali, unraveling their plot to lure him to the palazzo in cahoots with Joyce. Vitali's intimate knowledge of the palazzo, stemming from his involvement in Alicia's death investigation, and Ariadne's aspirations for a captivating new narrative drive their collaboration. Ariadne confesses her desperation for a breakthrough story following a string of failures. Their exchange is interrupted by Desdemona, urging Poirot to hasten with the key. Rushing to Dr. Ferrier's location, they discover him lifeless, a knife protruding from his back, leaving Leopold grief-stricken. As the group disperses, Olga reveals to Poirot her suspicions regarding Rowena's behavior preceding Alicia's demise, shedding new light on the case. Examining photographs of Alicia, Poirot is struck by a familiar image of her as a child, reminiscent of the apparition he thought he saw earlier. A particular flower catches his attention in the picture. Amidst a momentary lapse, Poirot reacts to the house's pet parrot's disturbance, leading him to stumble upon the other half of Maxime's torn photograph, revealing himself alongside Alicia. Gathering the guests together, Poirot unveils the perpetrator behind the sinister web of deceit, Rowena herself. He elucidates Rowena's intricate scheme, revealing her use of rhododendron-derived honey to drug and manipulate Alicia, inducing hallucinations of the ghostly children. This same concoction inadvertently led to Alicia's fatal overdose, orchestrated by Olga in a misguided attempt to soothe her. Rowena's machinations extended further, as she orchestrated Joyce's demise and manipulated Ferrier's death to appear as though he had taken his own life to protect his son, Leopold, from her threats. Poirot exposes Rowena's ultimate motive, to escape culpability by attributing the deaths to supernatural forces. As Rowena attempts to flee, Poirot confronts her on the balcony. A dramatic moment ensues as thunder crackles, and Poirot perceives Alicia's ghost behind Rowena, seemingly exacting justice. In a chilling twist of fate, Rowena plunges into the canal to her demise. Poirot and Ariadne share a final exchange before parting ways. Olga takes Leopold under her wing, and Poirot uncovers the truth behind the blackmail, realizing Leopold's involvement in a bid to support his father. As Poirot settles back into his home, a visitor seeks his aid in unraveling the tragic deaths of his parents and brother. Drawing on his renewed sense of purpose, Poirot swiftly discerns subtle clues indicating the involvement of the family doctor, driven by the lure of inheritance. With characteristic determination, the great detective eagerly accepts the challenge, poised to embark on yet another enthralling investigation.